Welcome to the Caregiver Handbook Orientation, brought to you by Home and Heart Care. Presentation Note. Throughout this presentation, we will be referencing our Caregiver Handbook as well as our Policy Handbook. These two resources can be found at the Home and Heart Care website by hovering over the Resources tab and selecting Employee Resources. The Caregiver Handbook and the Policy Handbook are highlighted in blue and can be opened by clicking on the blue words. These two handbooks will also be given to you at the time of orientation. Welcome to our office. Thank you for coming in today. We hope we can answer any questions you may have regarding Home and Heart Care.
Thank you for your time today. I do have a few questions I hope we can find answers to.
Of course. What can I help you with?
Where did the name Home at Heart Care come from?
Our name stems from our mission statement. We were delighted how well it worked out. Home is the word we use to describe the place where each person should be able to find rest, nourishment, comfort, healing, and belonging, regardless of ability. Where's at for us? Connecting every person to a great caregiver. The heart of a caregiver is one of trust, hospitality, compassion, and responsibility. We care about people because God cares about people. We have a vision to support in-home caregivers throughout the state of Minnesota who can make a godly difference in someone's heart and home. Currently, we serve Northwest Minnesota, from Kitson County to Coochin County, and Clay County to Cass County, including the White Earth Indian Reservation and the Red Lake Indian Reservation. Our office is located in Clearbrook, Minnesota, a small town located between Bemidji, Thief River Falls, and Crookston.
That's a large area. How do you cover such a vast area?
We have many caregivers who provide service throughout Northwest Minnesota, and we have numerous supervisors that each have a region of the state they are responsible for. As we travel and work with our employees and clients throughout the state, we keep several core values in mind. First is trust. We honor all relationships we have by serving with honesty and integrity. Second is hospitality. We make the most of every opportunity we are given to help someone feel valued and loved. Third, compassion. We serve with kindness and compassion, following Christ's example for us. And fourth is responsibility. We work hard to meet the needs of the people which we have been entrusted.
How do you see that playing out in daily interactions?
Several areas. We want our relationships to be healthy, and we want to be honest with ourselves and others, and we want to live by example. It is how we aim to live our life, whether that be in our representation of time cards, helping a client, or answering questions for our employees. The desire of Bruce and Troy, the owners of Home and Heart Care, is that it be a way of living our lives that is honoring to God and to others.
What is it like working for Home at Heart Care? And what is the hiring process?
Good question. As we talk today, please remember many of your questions can be answered in our Caregiver Handbook and Policy Handbook. These handbooks are given to you at orientation with your supervisor and can be found online at our website, homeatheartcare.com, under Resources. So if we discuss something today and you have questions or can't remember, please take a look and familiarize yourself with them. But to answer your question regarding hiring processes, we are an at-will employment company.
What does that mean?
Well, let's say, for example, you are currently going to school for nursing. At the time you receive your nursing license, you may want to find a different job. Or perhaps you move out of the area, or a different opportunity comes up. You may want to terminate your job at that point. Basically, anytime you have a change of circumstances, we ask that you give us a 2-week notice so we can find a replacement. Likewise, circumstances may change for Home and Heart Care. For instance, your client's needs may change, affecting your work schedule. We do our best to find other clients for you, but we cannot guarantee that will be an option.
Can anyone work for Home at Heart Care?
We are an equal opportunity employer. We employ qualified people without regard to race, color, creed, religion, sex, sexual orientation, age, marital status, familial status, physical or mental disability, national origin or ancestry, veteran status, or any other category protected by federal, state, or local law. Whew, that's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
Home and Heart Care will make reasonable accommodations to all qualified persons with disabilities as applicable, consistent with the Minnesota Human Rights Act and/or Americans with Disabilities Act, and any applicable local regulation or ordinance.
Who lets me know if there's something I'm doing that needs to be addressed, like something against company policy?
Well, our goal is to resolve problems through open communication, and this communication would start with your direct supervisor. We have a progressive disciplinary process we follow to address any concerns. Please refer to the Caregiver Handbook, which is available on our website under Employee Resources.
What if I have concerns? Who do I talk to?
Home and Heart Care has an open door policy. That means we encourage and welcome employees to express their concerns and opinions with Home and Heart Care Management. Your supervisor is the first person you should speak with. Your supervisor is the person who meets with you to go over your client's care plan and Home and Heart Care paperwork. We find that many of our employees do not know who their supervisor is, so if we can help you understand now that your supervisor is the person you will meet with for paperwork, then you will be ahead of the game.
Okay, what happens if I can't get a hold of my supervisor?
Well, that would depend on what your question is. We are committed to respond in a timely manner to your needs. However, our supervisors have many clients and caregivers that they are working with. We ask that you give them a reasonable amount of time to respond. But for urgent matters, you may always try to contact the office here at Home and Heart Care. The care plan is a wonderful source of information. We encourage our employees to know where it is located in the home and be familiar with its contents. It may help you with some urgent matters. But PCA services are not considered an essential service, so we may not always be qualified to handle urgent matters.
When I'm in someone's home, how will I know what to do?
That is a common concern, and we want our employees to be comfortable. This is when our client care plan, created based on a county assessment, is helpful to us. A social worker or county employee meets with the client and assesses their needs. This assessment is how we create our care plan and is our employee's guide to what cares we are authorized to provide.
Who will help me understand the care plan?
At the time of orientation, your supervisor will review the care plan with you. Your supervisor will discuss the cares you will provide and how to perform them. Please ask any questions and voice any concerns you have. Home at Heart Care wants you to feel confident and supported as you perform your tasks. If at any time you feel you need some clarification or further training, please contact your supervisor with any questions.
When I am with a client, is there a dress code?
We do not have a uniform, but we do have a policy of dressing neat and professional while being well groomed in appearance. You know, another concern that may go along with this question is electronic devices. While in the home, our employees need to refrain from using electronic devices and they need to concentrate on their client and responsibilities. Another thought that comes to mind is we have had instances where well meaning employees have wanted to bring their children or perhaps even pets along to work. While we can see the heart of the intent, we need to protect our client's safety, privacy, and quality of care. So we must ask that our employees do not bring anyone or any pet to work with them.
I can see that. Children and pets may be a source of joy, but are also unpredictable, and the client would need to come first. What should I do if I get sick or need to adjust my schedule for some reason?
Home and Heart Care's expectation is that the caregiver works the schedule according to plan. However, we understand life happens. If you find you are unable to fulfill your commitment of time, you should contact your client directly and then notify your supervisor. Sometimes you may be able to schedule a different time to fulfill the hours of care needed, or there may be a backup coworker who can fill in for you. Your supervisor will discuss the details as they pertain to the individual client.
All right, thank you. Remind me, who is my supervisor again?
Sure, your supervisor is the person who will meet with you for orientation. They are the person who will help you with all the initial paperwork and meeting your client.
Oh, is that who I submit my timesheet to? And what type of timesheet does Home at Heart Care use?
Great question. In fact, we often spend some time helping our employees understand how to submit and fill out a timesheet. We have two options: a regular hard copy and an e-time card for your convenience. Timesheets must be submitted by 9 a.m. Tuesday. We encourage our employees to call our office to verify that your timesheet has been received and is accurate. Please keep in mind that timesheets must be submitted within 30 days of the original date of service.
So if I meet the 9 a.m. Tuesday deadline, when can I expect my paycheck?
Due to processing time, you may expect your paycheck the following Thursday. So this means you will be paid the next week on Thursday. This is a common question that we get, and it can be confusing. Let me give you an example to better help understand it. Let's say the deadline is on Tuesday, January 1st. Your paycheck will be posted on Thursday, January 10th.
So I'm paid for the hours I turn in, not in the same week, but the following week.
Yes, your paycheck is for the hours you worked the previous week.
So if I meet the 9 a.m. Tuesday deadline, when can I expect my paycheck?
Current caregivers have discovered a good rule of thumb is to remember that it takes 10 days to turn your timesheet into a paycheck.
So I'm paid for the hours I turn in, not in the same week, but the following week.
Yes, that is correct for regularly turned in timesheets. Please keep in mind that timesheets must be submitted within 30 days of the original date of service. Caregivers must be physically present with the caregiver's client, providing care for the client to claim time for that client. Something else we need to address while discussing timesheets is fraud, waste, and abuse awareness training. Timesheets are legal documents and, as such, need to be filled out with honesty and integrity. The only time acceptable to be submitted for hours paid is time you spend in the presence of the client or time you spend accomplishing tasks that are on the client's care plan. Home at Heart Care requires that after 6 consecutive calendar days of working, you take a day off to recharge.
Okay, so I need to be thoughtful and honest about my timesheet. If I have more than one client in a day, does Home at Heart Care make any concessions for me?
Yes, we do. When you are scheduled to work with more than one client in a day, Home at Heart will pay travel time between the clients. We do not, however, pay for time traveling to your first client of the day and from your last client of the day. This travel time must be authorized by the caregiver's supervisor.
What if my client needs a ride somewhere? What should I do then?
Minnesota Department of Human Services and Home at Heart prohibit the transportation of clients. You may, however, go with your client to assist with activities of daily living, or ADLs, if someone else is transporting them. As a side note, if you are performing services for your client, you are not to drive the client's vehicle. Primarily, we want everyone to be safe and protected and follow the state's guidelines of care.
Does Home at Heart Care have a policy for medical leave? If so, what are the requirements and time given?
We are committed to compliance with the Family and Medical Leave Act, or the FMLA. You can find a copy in your policy handbook. However, a basic premise is that we do have 12 weeks of unpaid leave during a 12-month period to eligible employees. Please contact Human Resources if you need to take a leave of absence. Another item I should mention is PCA service verification. The state of Minnesota requires that we make a periodic check-in with our clients and employees to verify they are both present and cares are being performed.
How does Home at Heart Care go about making those checks?
We may start with a phone call, but it could also include a home visit by your supervisor. Home at Heart will make a call or visit to verify both the PCA and the client are present, to ensure our employees and clients are where they say they are. The state wants a way to verify this before they provide funds for PCA care. That is the state's motivation. However, Home at Heart's motivation is to not only follow these guidelines, but to connect with our clients and employees. We use it as an opportunity to connect and see if there are any needs or health issues we can serve you with. We are thankful for our clients and our employees and desire to build a relationship with them. The PCA service verification gives us the perfect opportunity to do so. When working with a client, we want our employees to be aware of our communicable disease control plan. It can be found on our website, homeatheartcare.com. Caregivers will receive training in the described areas of the plan as it relates to their individual client.
Who will help me understand what precautions I need to take with my clients?
When you visit with your supervisor at orientation, they will go over information specific to your client.
Thank you. I want to feel safe and be prepared for any situations I may face while working. What about any needles, scalpels, or soiled clothing? Is there a plan for handling those types of situations?
Yes, good question. We do have procedures for you to follow. You may wonder if there are procedures regarding cleansing of equipment, hand washing, or sanitary practices. These will all be discussed with your supervisor at the time of orientation. Because each client is different, they each have specific needs, and you will be educated regarding those needs according to the client.
When I am caring for a client's home, should I clean and care for it as I would in my own home? Or does Home at Heart Care have specific ways of doing things?
We have a link on our website, homeandheartcare.com, titled Cleaning Basics. This is a reference for you as to how to go about cleaning and caring for your client's home. Home at Heart would like our employees to have general guidelines we follow as a company to keep our standards high and our employees safe. However, each client has their own preferences regarding the cleaning of their own home, and your supervisor will discuss those preferences when you meet for orientation.
What should I do if my client needs to be restrained? I've experienced this before in other jobs and would like to know how Home at Heart Care handles these types of situations.
We encourage our caregivers to use positive redirection, as Home at Heart Care does not allow use of manual restraints. In your policy handbook, we have numerous ways to use positive redirection.
What should I do if I feel a client is at risk for harming themselves or others?
This is when positive redirections or de-escalating as offered in our policy handbook may help you. A few examples of de-escalating may be allowing the client to exercise as much control and decision-making as possible, respect the person's need for physical space, and modeling the desired behavior. We have to remember that we are not responsible for our clients' choices and behaviors. In remembering that, we can calm our own frustrations and focus on our clients.
What should I do if there is an emergency, like a medical emergency or weather emergency?
We hope nothing like that ever happens to you or your client. However, it is always good to be prepared. Our policy handbook has many situations that you may need to address and a plan as to how to proceed. Always feel free to dial 911 for any emergencies you encounter.
After the emergency is over, what should I do next?
We have an incident report that needs to be completed as soon after the occurrence as possible. Please contact your supervisor or the Home at Heart Care office if there is an emergency while you are working. Your client's care plan is a very important source of information. It can answer many of your specific questions regarding your client. As a caregiver, you must comply with your client's care plan in regard to their personal preferences, daily needs, interests, activities, and personal goals.
Of course, my client's needs are very important to me. What do I do if my client needs to take medications?
You may not administer any medication to a client. However, per their care plan, there may be a direction to remind your client to take their medication. Always refer to the care plan when you have questions like this.
Does Home at Heart Care have any expectations of conduct I should be aware of?
We do have general guidelines that are outlined in our Caregiver Handbook. Basically, we want our employees, as well as ourselves, to have high ethical standards. We define ethical standards as principles that, when followed, promote trust, good behavior, fairness, and kindness. Rules cannot be substituted for good judgment and ethical conduct, but we do outline several guidelines in the handbook. Please read through the list, but know that all our employees have personal responsibility to ensure that their actions meet the highest ethical standards.
Okay, I will look for that as I read my Caregiver Handbook.
Great, thank you. Safety is always a top priority at Home and Heart. Clients, as well as employees, should put safety first. This means we take the time to understand the health rules and practices that apply to the job responsibilities. Take precautions and understand basic first aid. In regards to safety, one important daily activity you may encounter is lifting and transferring your client. Our employees need to practice safe lifting techniques.
How do I learn how to do that?
Your supervisor will spend time at your orientation going over how to properly lift and move your client. Due to the nature of our work, we have to be aware of conflicts of interest. It is imperative that employees' conduct not reflect adversely on Home at Heart or themselves. We need to avoid personal conflicts of interest. That means you need to disclose any relationships to your client or supervisor, fulfill job responsibilities for all clients, and refrain from abusing any employee benefit or privilege.
So if I am taking care of a family member, I just need to make sure Home at Heart Care is aware of that.
Yes, please let us know of anything that may be considered a conflict of interest. While we are talking about relationship to clients, we should address boundaries. When you are with your client, you should be aware of boundaries that need to be maintained. Questions you could ask yourself may be, am I treating this client or family member differently than I do other clients? Would I be comfortable if this action or gift was known to the public or my supervisor? What emotions of my own does this client or family member trigger, and are the emotions impacting my decision making?
I am sure those issues need to be addressed and kept in mind as I work with clients.
Yes, for sure. When we are in a client's home, we have to be on guard against these issues as we are working so closely with them in their life. When we are in a client's home, we need to be professional, whether it be in our behavior or our life choices. Home and Heart employees need to be at their best, and as such must refrain from illegal drug use or alcohol in the workplace. Home and Heart Care supports a workplace free of drugs, alcohol, chemicals, and abuse of prescription medications. Our employees also need to refrain from any sort of verbal, physical, or visual harassment. We want our work environment to be pleasant, healthy, and comfortable, free from intimidation, hostility, or other offenses which might interfere with work performance.
Yes, I can see that these things are important to our clients, but I am thankful that these guidelines are in place for my own comfort and ease. What should I do if I'm feeling harassed?
In response to feeling harassed, you have several options to consider. You may want to bring it to the attention of the person you are feeling harassed by, be it verbally or by letter, or you may want to notify Home and Heart Care and ask them to intervene as an informal intervention. Or you may feel the problem has, in your view, warranted a detailed written complaint to your supervisor or Home and Heart Care management. There will be no retaliatory action taken against any employee for filing a harassment complaint. Another piece of working with our clients so closely is that we need to be aware of their privacy, the HIPAA requirements, and confidentiality with any information we obtain.
What do you mean specifically? What is Home at Heart concerned about happening?
Our client and our employees have a right to privacy. As you work with the client, you will be aware of many personal details and information regarding said client. Often, a lot of this information is on your timesheet, and as such, you need to be aware of that. We need to be extremely careful to comply with HIPAA requirements. HIPAA, or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. HIPAA provides data privacy and security provisions for safeguarding medical information. We need to maintain the utmost integrity regarding all confidential information we are given.
What should I do if I am in a home and I feel my client is in danger?
Good question. We are mandated to report any suspected maltreatment we see or suspect. We are considered mandated reporters. Suspected maltreatment may include things like caregiver or self-neglect, financial exploitation, verbal, physical, sexual, or emotional abuse. If you suspect these things are happening to your client, you need to contact Home at Heart Care within 24 hours or call the Minnesota Reporting Center directly. We do ask that if you call these numbers directly, that you let us know so we can address any problems or concerns.
Is there any way to prevent abuse before it happens?
When you are meeting with your supervisor at orientation, they will discuss any identified concerns regarding abuse that have been assessed by social workers.
Do our clients have a way to voice their concerns or complaints?
We welcome phone calls from our clients to discuss any concerns or complaints. We have forms we fill out to ensure everything is recorded and understood. All of this information is stated in our policy handbook, which will be given to you or can be found online at our website. Our clients also have rights as outlined in our policy handbook regarding their care. I would refer you to the handbook to review these rights as there are many. Home at Heart may also suspend or terminate services to a client due to financial, health, or behavioral issues. We will do our best in this event to find another client for you to work with, but we cannot guarantee that we will be able to do so. It will depend on the needs in the area you work. As we visit about the policies affecting our clients, we would like all employees to know about the Minnesota Home Care Bill of Rights. This Bill of Rights protects the recipients of home care. This bill can be found as a link on our policy handbook pages on our website. We want to make sure you as an employee are taken care of. Caregivers are often so busy caring for other people's needs, they forget to take care of themselves. This can sometimes lead to feelings of irritability or hopelessness, emotional and physical exhaustion, or changes in sleep patterns, just to name a few. There are many ways to prevent this, but you need to take care of yourself outside of your working environment. You can't take care of others when you are not caring for yourself. That is why we ask our employees to work no more than 6 days in a row. At our office, Home at Heart Care also maintains a library of biblical resources with a focus on caregiving, available for free, as well as pamphlets that address a wide range of physical, emotional, and mental health needs. We also have a relationship with Clearwater's Life Center. Home at Heart Care has an established relationship with them, and you, as our employee, benefits from that. Clearwater's Life Center offers anger management classes, lay counselors, and recovery classes. These and many other services are available to you, and it's completely confidential and free.
It's hard to stop and take care of yourself, but it is a good reminder to take care of my needs as well as others. Does Home at Heart Care offer any help or services to me as an employee?
When requested, our wellness team volunteers make house calls to both clients and caregivers for encouragement and support.
Is there any further training I will need to have besides my PCA certificate?
At orientation, each caregiver is trained in areas that relate to their individual client. Home at Heart also offers a diverse training program that may include on-the-job training, online classes, skills workbooks, and classroom options. We want our employees to have first aid and CPR courses as well, which we offer. The state of Minnesota has policies telling us what training is required to provide caregivers. It is important that our caregivers keep their training up to date.
What is offered regarding wages and benefits by Home at Heart Care?
We offer fair, consistent wages and benefits for all our employees. We also offer a 401k retirement plan, a health insurance plan if you average a 30-hour week or more, and AFLAC insurance.
Other than PCA services, does Home at Heart Care offer anything else to their clients?
The services we provide are directed by a social worker assigned to the client by their county or health services. Once the client's needs are decided, we offer services such as housekeeping, homemaking, respite care, and ICLS or individual community living supports, as well as PCA services. PCA services are the bulk of services we provide, but we do offer the other options as well. I am thrilled you decided to join us and stopped in to ask questions. Whether you work a few hours every other week or work 5 or 6 days a week, you will find this is more than just a job. It is the beginning of a friendship between you, our clients, their families, our supervisors, and those of us here in the office. If you have other concerns, critiques, compliments, or just need someone to talk to, give Troy or Bruce a call. We are very proud of the staff we have here. They are all very passionate about what they are doing. Along with them, you and I all share in this mission, and we want to thank you for joining Home and Heart Care.